Hello everybody, welcome back to Labz. Today, we are going to be practicing parkour and working on parkour because my horde base for the playthrough, in case you are not caught up or have not seen the episode, is going to be parkour related. Now, the goal of the Labz is to ensure that the zombies can path on the blocks that I want them to path on, because the intention of the base is not to intentionally send the zombies to the ground. Some may occasionally go down to the ground, but it's basically a backup base with a parkour element. I'm going to have to be able to move the zombies through the base and ensure that they can use the same pathing that I can and see how well they do it, because if they can't path it, there's no sense in me using it. So this episode might actually go up before the final episode of what I recorded yesterday, which will be Saturday's episode, probably. I'm not sure what day this is going up. So I'll want to work on the horde base, but I want to do these tests first, so it's not going to be until the next recording session that I can actually... sorry, there's a bug in my room again. I don't know where these guys keep coming from. Anyway, this is probably going to go up before the episodes where I want to try these practices so that I know whether or not they work. But I record them in groups, and I didn't want to stop what I was doing to find out if this stuff worked. I wanted to finish recording and then come and do this. So I've got several things set up, and one thing over here, I'll go ahead and point it out so there won't be a question as to why this is here. This was a thought that I was having. I don't even remember what part of today I was having the thought, but I wanted to figure out a way of getting the zombie dogs and the bipedal animals, I mean, not the bipedal, the bipedals to go to one area and the walking on all fours to another area, just in case I wanted to set up like a specific trap just for them. And I was trying to figure out if there was a way of getting them to use a particular entrance that the other zombies won't use. And I threw this out here because this is a thought that I'm having, but it's going to have to wait until another one because I can't remember precisely what it was I was thinking in that line of thought. But I've got the outline here, but it's going to take some work because I'm pretty sure the zombies will just, you know, go the easy way. But my issue is as I was thinking about these, while I might be able to get the zombies to path up these as stairs, I don't think the zombie dogs will. But we're not going to find that out until after I get a chance to actually do each and every one of these. But the first thing I'm going to do is this test right here, which is basically just a redirecting the zombies test. I want to see how long it takes after I tell the zombies they can't come this way anymore, they need to come this way, and they can't come this way, they need to come this way. I want to see what kind of damage they're going to cause while I'm trying to redirect them. During a horde, the zombies create a lot of damage, and the intention is to set up a group of parkour elements that I myself also have to go through in order to get to the new sides, and to open up the new sides by using trap doors to give them access to the new area and closing off the old area, thereby trying to control how much damage the zombies can do at one particular time. So let's do this. I am pretty sure no issues whatsoever pathing this. I'm kind of skittish about the bar being here, but he should be able to path straight over that. Okay, now if I do that and bring this side down, he should path to this side. Let's bring in another thick. And now he's going to path to this side. Okay, so the redirecting does work. I put that on backwards, but that's fine. Okay, now what happens? Cool! What happens if I have a group of zombies? Now, I don't exactly have a path that I know that they're going to fall back through. What I could do is throw something in. I wasn't thinking about that, but I want them to continue running. I want to see what the damage they're going to do to the base while they're trying to figure things out. The balls over there seem to have worked pretty well, so I will probably just use that. Okay, now we have this. Now, I can jump those. Now say it's not exactly the best way to test this, but say I have a few guys. Alright. And I back up into my base. They come across, and some of them are going to make it, some of them won't. Okay, now, while you guys are going, say during... Ah! They fought. Okay, now then. I got pushed out of the base, which is probably going to happen during that situation. I need to redirect them to a new section of the base. I'll redirect them over here. Dude down there is kind of confused. And I need to stop them from going this way. And stop them from following me here. Okay, what kind of... Yeah, sir. What kind of damage? How confused are we getting here? Okay, they're not actually staying in one spot for very long. They're recalculating their pathing really, really fast. Which is what I was hoping for. Okay, okay. Alright, kill all. Okay, so that kind of answers that for me. They're actually doing it pretty fast. I don't know what the ticks are between them calculating their pathing, but they're doing it fast enough to where they're not really doing a ton of damage as far as I can tell. I didn't see them beating on way too much. Let's see. There's a bit here. Now these have only got 500 health. Okay, right around the steps. Right around the steps. And nobody was taking out the pillar I was actually trying to step on. But essentially, that's what I would be doing, is redirecting them through the paths, but each one of the sections where I want to stand is going to be like a... It's going to be like a, I don't know, a box with a trapdoor in front of it, so I can beat on the zombies with my electrical stick, and then after they start doing a bit of damage to the door and stuff, then I can back up, open up a new pathway, and they should follow the new pathway, like... Okay, I would start out doing this. I would be here in a box, and they would have like a little bit of parkour, not a whole lot. I definitely don't want them falling through very often. I want like, out of one group of horde, I want 3 or 4 maybe to fall and allow me a chance to beat up on the zombies that are in front. So none of the ones where they have to jump over stuff like they did over there, because chances are they're going to fall before they ever get a chance to get to me, and I want them to get to me because I'm going to be using mostly melee during this time. I will have a gun, but those are going to be for the birds, which is the reason why I'll be standing inside a box. But after this area starts to get breached, I'll have to open up, well, it would be behind me because I'd be moving on to another area, but I'd open it up and then close down another pathway to my next section to bring them up to this section, because they'll only path about 15 blocks to get to you. Otherwise, they're going to beat up on something. Now, after they get there to beat up on said thing, they might recalculate yet again 15 more blocks in order to get to you, which is fine, and that's what I want them to do, but I want them to be able to move through my base and go to different sections instead of causing way too much damage. But as I move through the base and as they move through the base, there's a chance for both parties to fall. Okay, now these, I think this is the first one I built, was an idea that I had to get me to an elevated position above them. Maybe a way of getting up to a new section of the base. The thing is I don't know. First off, these are diagonals. And I had a thought about using these, but I was like, I don't think the zombies can path these, so my goal is to find out, can a zombie path this? Or is he just going to beat up on it? Yeah, it does seem like he cannot path this one. Okay, so this one... no path. Alright, so these don't work. We found out in earlier tests that they can't see diagonals as path, which is the reason why I was worried about this one. Alright, then this one would be the next one. This is a whole lot easier for them to path. Ow. Because it's basically a staircase. You could actually use this in one of your builds if you wanted to do like an actual full-on, you know, what do they call these stairs? Spiral staircases? If you wanted to do one of those, you could actually, you know, bring it out by one or whatever. But let's just see whether or not a zombie can path this. I shall patiently await. Yes. I figured you'd be able to path this one because there are blocks in the diagonals, so that one was easy to guess. Okay, so path. This one works as a way to elevate the base. Say if I was doing this, and I had a different section where my intention was to try and get them to drop at least once to take out a third of their health and make it easier on me to kill them, I could, from this back part, open up the brand new path that would be here, and then path us up, and then drop them a little bit higher. At least that was the intention. Now this one, since they can't path that one, I don't think they're going to be able to path this one. I'm pretty sure they won't, because this one has diagonals in there. They're not going to be able to do this one. Let's do that. Let's be sure and make sure that he can't path this. Yeah, he's just going to sit there and beat up on it. Okay. So what if I was to put something in the diagonals? In this one. Can I do that? Yeah, I probably could. What if I was to change up the blocks and give them something different to stand on? It's going to have to hold on to this block in order to sit in the diagonal. What if we were to do something like that in the diagonals? This is a really awkward thing to try and path through, but there are things sitting in the diagonals. As a matter of fact, I'm going to have to try this one because I have to be sure that you don't bump your head whenever you're using it. Come on. There you go. There you go. Okay, let's make sure. Okay, now I can't actually jump that. Alright, so don't put it on the upper block, put it on the lower block. Now, once my character starts learning parkour, all of my jumping is going to change. I will have to relearn how to jump with the character after my parkour gets so high, because you get to a point where you can jump more than one block. And you can't actually control whether or not you're jumping the block. Like, you can't, like, half push the button and only jump a little bit. That's not quite how that works. So, would this be considered a path? Let me make sure I can traverse it, that I'm not going to bump my head going through here. Okay, that I can path. Now, if I were to put a zombie down here, can you path this? Because in everything that we've learned, you should be able to path this. He is pathing it, but he's falling. I'm concerned. Okay, so you're not good at pathing it. Are you just going to stand there and beat up on it, though? Because if you do that, you're going to break the path for everybody else. Okay, you going to try again? Parkour sucks, man. Work on it. Get it thick. No, no, no. You have to jump here, sir. Jump here. Jump here. Sir! You are not cooperating. Let's get a couple of you guys out here. Somehow or another, I yanked myself back into my body. Oh, you already broke the block. Okay, okay. What if I do this? And that. Alright, if you're interested. Okay, this one you are most definitely not seeing. What if I... Oh, you did it, you did it! And he fell. Bloop! Alright, so these guys, these little blocks right here, they definitely see as a path. And if I do it right, I can make pretty easy stairs for me to get through as well. The problem is none of you have actually made it up. The change in levels are really, really screwing with you. Okay, let's do that. Get out of there. I started setting that up over there, so... No! Give me that back. I started setting something like that up over here, so if I take this and... Alright, put that one there. That one there. Let's see if you guys can actually make it up this one. Because with the way you were moving on the other one, you might be able to do this one. Okay. Now, let's do that. I am definitely sitting up there. And let's get a few guys up here. I need you guys to actually make these stairs with maybe only falling once or twice. Okay. Alright, you fell. You fell. Come on, Thick. Do it. You are almost there. Oh, he's kind of stuck right there. In like a falling animation. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. This one works. Not very well. Now, if I have a group of them going on, they might be able to... Don't worry about that. Slow. Okay, so if I have a particular part of the base where I know the next section is going to be very hard for me to get through, this might be a good way of slowing them down long enough for me to get through it. I don't like that y'all can't really make it. If I do it, I'm probably going to have to cut it off a little bit lower. This is 8 high, so make smaller. That way they could still path over it eventually. Okay, but you can do it. You proved you can do it. Alright, what do we test next? Which would be this one. This one, because it's the poles, I don't think they're going to be able to traverse this thing. And... And in the middle of a horde, me being able to traverse this thing is very, very unlikely. But there's a chance that at... Okay! There is a chance that they might be able to use... No. Get back there. You did jump on the ends, though. So you're recognizing it as a path. Either that or you're just trying to get up higher to me, but you see the poles as a way of getting up here. I do not see them being able to path this. Okay. Well, that answers that question. Don't use this one, because that's most certainly not going to work. It's path, but don't use. It sucks. There we go. Alright, let's go on to the next section of things I wanted to try. We tried that one. We tried that one. We tried that one. We tried this one. They really did not use this one very well. Different levels. Too difficult. This one would probably be a good one if you were trying to keep them from getting up to you. So I guess we found technically another cheese base if you wanted to use it that way. They will continuously try to pass to you, but they really probably won't ever be able to scale this, particularly if you pay very close attention to these blocks right here and set them to where they're definitely going to have to do a full jump to get to them. So those are really not all that usable. We tried this. Now the second thing that I wanted to make sure of, and this is probably going to be a pretty easy test. I think this is going to work, but with a parkour base, there's going to be a lot of elements that are going to be elevated. I needed to have blocks that weren't considered a path for me or the zombies, because if I put these in the base, I won't be walking across them. They're pretty easy to walk across. That's not parkour, in my opinion, unless, of course, I do that. The point is to try and find something that I could use for stability. Like, if I have a particular area that I'm trying to build up, but I need extra supports on it, but I don't want me or the zombies really using it. It's just there to hold the whole thing together. Where are my steps, man? Where are the steps? Okay, you guys made it absolutely marvelously. Now, if I were to summon you guys... Hi. Come on. There you go, you see me. If I were to do that, but take away your obvious path to me, you will pass it. You will pass it. Oh, that is tricky. That is tricky over there. You didn't path it. Is that because I used centered ones? So you do path these. Is that patched? Because when I tried it over there, you did not path these. I feel like something was patched. Okay, okay, that is fine. Let us be absolutely sure to try... that's the centered. Let's try that one. And I need to rewind time a little bit because I don't want an actual horde coming through here. Okay, so I am very, very glad I did not use those as a support. That would have sucked to find out the wrong time. Now, technically, I could use this as a support. I mean, it would act as a support, but visually it would kind of suck. Now then, we know that they passed that. Let's close these off. Bring out that, and let's see whether or not they've changed these or not. That is interesting. I'm glad I tested this before I actually put it in the base as like a support feature, and then found out it didn't work that way anymore. They had patched it out. Okay, here they come. Nice jump! Okay, this is telling me you do not see these as a path. Hold on, let's be sure. Get out of there. These are not considered a path. Okay, guys, so there has been a change. The poles have changed. Stop doing that. Okay, so the centered poles are considered a path, but the off-centered poles are not considered a path. But we found out over there that they do path on one edge of it, so just to be sure that we have checked both sides of it, if I were to try and cheese the horde base, if I were to try and do this. Now, do I stick them together? Let's just do it like this. If they're going to path over it, they're going to path over it. If I were to do this, now those are actually considered blocks. They will offer some stability to the build. Now remember that the physics in the game aren't horizontally based, which means as long as the corner piece of whatever it is you're trying to support, say this one right here, is the structure support of this thing right here. As long as this one's strong enough to hold this and this and this and this and this, it'll hold up. It has nothing to do with whether or not there are extra blocks here. They're not going to hold against each other. I'll probably explain that better in a different episode, but this isn't really going to help so much with stability unless there's an area of your base you're not really sure is going to hold, and putting one of these supports in is probably not going to help. You would add these things in and upgrade the one that's actually holding it all the way to steel. And that's what I'm wondering, is whether or not that's a thing that I'm actually going to be able to use these particular pieces for. But since we found out these poles have changed, I have to, in good conscience, make sure I know whether or not these are considered a cheese now. Because we found out one of those is no longer a cheese. Alright, let us summon something not way over there. Let's summon them right here. Okay, you do not see this as a path. Gotcha. Alright, so this side is not seen as a path. They were just trying to elevate themselves on that one way over there. They were trying to get themselves up to the same level as me. It had nothing to do with whether or not the block itself was pathable. Okay, but, okay, and that is the off-centered poles. Be careful not to use those if you are not trying to build a cheese base. And if you are trying to build a cheese base, do not use the centered poles. They can path over those. Be careful about that. Alright, so we found those things out. So if I want to make sure that it's just a support, that I'm not going to traverse it, they're not going to traverse it, it has to be the off-center. But because it is pathable, I can use it as the center ones as part of my base. I did not know that. I hadn't even considered that. So if I was to take, say, I don't know, if I was to... If I was to put a jump into it. Not necessarily a full-on jump, because a full-on jump is kind of a cheese. Now that I know that they spaghetti every single time they do it, just about. But if, say, you were to do that, and then that, and you put, like, an unusual block in the center of that, say, one of those, that means that they're going to have to move differently whenever they get to that block, and that's the intention of my base. It's not necessarily cheeses, because I'm going to make sure all of the blocks that I use are easily traversed. I'm not going to put any jumps into it. These blocks over here, let me find my spot. These ones over here are the ones that I put inside my server base. And these work very well for a cheese as long as there is a jump somewhere in your format of cheese that is going right here. You know, a slice of cheese right here. As long as there is a jump there, they will usually fall. Now, because I'm trying to do a non-cheese parkour base, which means jumping is involved, for me, because I can't just barrel across there like some of the zombies can, I cannot put these bars and stuff in there unless the bars are sitting on a flat surface. So if I was doing something like these, I would have to put the bars probably somewhere like this with a solid piece before and a solid piece afterwards with the intention of just slowing them down. It can't be with the intention of trying to get them to jump and fall. Okay, so interesting, interesting. Alright, let's do this. Because it's a new thing that I have learned. Center pole. Path. There we go. That is a thing that we did in fact learn. And we found out that whenever they have to re-gauge which way they are going, they do it relatively fast. A lot faster than they used to. The corner pieces right here, if you wanted to build a cheese stairway up into your base, this would work. Which, I know, it'd be kind of weird to try and jump up this every single time you were playing, but I'm pretty sure there are ways of making even this look nice. So if you're looking for a cheese entrance and exit to your base, this is a good one. And we found out if you want to make a spiral staircase like this, then you can most certainly put one in there, and this is considered a path, so you could build this and not feel like you're trying to cheese the AI. And we did indeed find out another horde base you could possibly build, and that's something like this. Instead of doing the killing corridor, you would have a killing shaft. Is that what I built? A killing shaft? Oh, good lord, my parents are going to be so proud of me. Anyway, and then we also found this one that is pathable, but probably on the shorter version, otherwise this is still also considered a cheese. Because they will eventually fall probably about here, but they can indeed make it all the way up. Guys, I feel like I learned a lot with these particular sets of things. I mean, we figured out another horde base, the killing shaft. That should be interesting. That's going to be a fun thing when that gets out, that I figured out how to do a killing shaft. Let's not give it any other names, guys, because I'm sure there are probably a lot of different names I can come up with this. And we figured out how to make a couple of other things. This one is complete failure, but did I use corner? No, these are centered poles. Okay, and we found out the centered pole is considered a path. They can indeed one-off them, but the off-centered ones are not considered a path. I'm going to say that was a pretty good series of events, guys. That answered a lot of questions. Now I'm going to have to sit here and think on and possibly come up with something different for this one. I was attempting to find a way of moving the dogs to a specific area so I could fight them differently. I just don't know how the heck I would do that. Someone told me dogs prefer the slants instead of the stairs, and if there's a path here, it will stop the zombies from getting up it, so they should prefer this path anyway. I don't know. Let's just see something really quick. Actually, no. I will play around with this in the next one. It's already been a 30-minute video, and I've already had complaints about Labz being on the longer side because I get in this zone of wanting to play around with zombie AI, and I need to stop. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I think we are going to end it here. Let me just go over here and stare at the killing shaft for a little while, y'all. Ingrain that into your memories. I don't know what's wrong with my head. Anyway, I'll see you next time. You have a wonderful day, a wonderful night, and you stay shiny. Bye!